The Witcher 3 is a massive game. The only thing bigger than The Witcher 3 is my obsession over shani. Okay, maybe not. Well, that's debatable. In this week's video, I have 10 hidden secrets in The Witcher 3, secret conversations, hidden details, Easter eggs, and alternative quest paths. If at any point in this video you learned something new, make sure to click or tap the like button, and feel free to comment any hidden secrets that I haven't covered. The first secret has to do with our favorite little strawberry, as Vladimir von Everec would call her. During the Hearts of Stone DLC, you'll end up meeting with Shani, and she will casually mention how she has to attend her friend's wedding, and will ask you to be her +1. But if you head over to the notice board at the Seven Cats Inn, you can actually find a notice that reads, "Need a beau to accompany me to a friend's wedding. My friend's found herself a man and they're set to get married soon. Problem is, I've no beau of my own to take to her wedding. If any intelligent, amusing, handsome, none too old nor too young man, owning at least one decent looking frock or robe, is interested in accompanying me to her wedding ceremony and the feast to follow, I'd be most thoroughly obliged. In exchange, I can offer a few hours of good fun and good conversation with a lass that dances with the best of them. Alcohol will also be provided. And if you happen to take this notice before meeting with Shani, you can actually ask her about it after she invites you to the ceremony."
Would you go with me?
Wait. That was your notice?
What notice?
The one posted by the Seven Cats. Need a beau to accompany me to a friend's wedding. If any intelligent, amusing, handsome, none too old nor none too young man owning at least one decent-looking frock.
No, that's not mine.
Do you like erotic storytelling, 50 Shades of Grey, hardcore smut? Even The Witcher 3 has this. And I'm not talking about the forbidden threesome. On one of the notice boards in Oxenfurt, you can find a note from an Oxenfurt professor who expresses sadness over the university being shut down, then goes on to praise King Radovid at the end with a non-English statement. This line translated to English says something along the lines of, "I will sodomize your anus and face," referencing Catalyst 16, which is a rather famous dirty Latin poem about wanting to sodomize your face and butt. In fact, I will show you a heavily censored version of the poem's translation for monetary and age-restricted purposes, and I'll let your imagination do the rest. This professor just insulted the Redanian king in a way that no one would understand. Or maybe he just hated his job so much that he wants to thank King Radovid by sodomizing his face and butt. Let me know what you think. Do you remember that herbalist in the White Orchard with an absolutely massive ass? This is Tomira, and she is easily one of the best alchemy merchants in the entire game, and you have access to her as soon as you start the game. The massive butt is just a bonus. Now, during the prologue, you actually have to talk to her about finding some buckthorn to fight the griffin. But while you're here, you might notice another girl who looks almost lifeless, and you can actually ask Tomira about her. This girl is named Lena. She was actually attacked by the griffin in question, and is on the verge of flatlining. You have the option to craft and give her a swallow potion, which may save her life, but she's going to die without it regardless. This side quest actually just serves as a tutorial for alchemy, so you might not think anything of it. However, if you give the potion to Tomira and Lena, then return to Tomira after meeting with Yennefer, Lena will no longer be here, and you can actually ask Tomira about her whereabouts.
She was getting better. Then Nilfgaardians came, carried her off.
Nilfgaardians? Why? What did they want with her?
I've no notion. They don't explain what they do. It's not in their custom.
This may seem a little vague, but you can head over to the Nilfgaard garrison camp at the southeasternmost of Velen, which is not required for anything at any point in the entire game. When you enter the camp, you will be approached by Lena's Nilfgaardian boyfriend, who will inform you of Lena's current condition.
She has not fully recovered. I took her with me when I was transferred. Thought she might get better. But no. She says nothing, recognizes no one, sleeps most of the day.
I warned Tomira. Witcher potions have powerful, usually permanent side effects.
I don't know whether to thank you or curse you for not letting her die with dignity.
Trust me, choice I had to make was harder.
This man makes an excellent point. You might have been better off just not saving Lena's life, but at least now you know what happened to her. And the Nilfgaardian didn't even have to tell you anything. Who said all the blacks are heartless animals? One of the few secondary romance options in The Witcher 3 can be found on the Skellige Isles. Right outside the town of Harviken, there is a Fist of Fury style event happening with a woman named Judah. The only difference is that this fight club is with swords. Under normal circumstances, Judah will refuse to fight you as she doesn't think you are worthy of penetrating her. Skin, I mean. Usually she'll send you after some sword and tell you to beat up some guy in town. And if you are successful in doing so, then she will let you stick your sword inside of her. Gaps between her armor, I mean. However, if you manage to participate in the Fist of Fury of Skellige and successfully beat Olaf the Bear in a fist fight, Judah will actually recognize you immediately as a worthy opponent and fight you on the spot.
I've heard of you. 'Twas you defeated Olaf the Bear, right?
That's me.
If that's so, you'll make a worthy opponent.
Afterwards, you can go back to her house and she will finally let you penetrate her in her bed. And this time, I mean her vagina. But what if I told you there was a side quest that doesn't exist? That probably doesn't make any sense. During the main story of Blood and Wine, you'll have to search for a unicorn in order to solve a riddle. And if you haven't played the game, then that probably also doesn't make any sense. Regardless, there is a place near the unicorn field where you can find a girl crying on a small bridge because she dropped her engagement ring into a stream of water. However, you can actually follow the stream down and not use your Witcher senses because it does not show up, and find her unmarked lost engagement ring. Then you can run back up and give it back to her for some unique dialogue.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. I know not how to repay you.
During the quest Mutual of Beauclair's Wild Kingdom, you come across a trading post that has been completely destroyed. Upon investigation, you discover that it was a basilisk with silver scales. But shortly after, you are approached by a man named Count Boris, and he tells you that the silver basilisk is the last of its kind and you should not kill it. After tracking the silver basilisk back to its nest, a group of shirtless chads offer to help you kill it. However, you can choose to spare the basilisk instead, and Count Boris will pay their fee for taking the contract, and the Gym Bros will leave in peace. Boris will also thank you and even give you a bonus for sparing it. Then he will say that he will stay in the area and observe the basilisk as it will eventually return to its nest. This is normally where the side quest ends. However, you can actually return to the basilisk nest after a couple of days to see that the silver basilisk is just flying around in peace. Behind a nearby bush, you can also find Count Boris keeping an eye on his new basilisk friend. It's the little details like this that make The Witcher 3 absolutely breathtaking. Blood and Wine's final set of quests can potentially take you to the land of 1,000 fables. Within this beautiful realm of fairy tales, there is a lot of overt Easter eggs, mainly of fairy tales and old fables. There is, however, a more dark Easter egg in the land of 1,000 fables that will shake you in your souls. You will have to fight a giant gatekeeping ogre. After you defeat said ogre, Sienna will offer to take advantage of you. Accepting her offer will engage you in the most freakiest mystic intercourse you have ever seen. After letting Sienna have her way with you, there will be a wooden bridge you have to cross. But if you jump down on the left, there will be a ledge, and following the pathway will lead you to a cave, where you can find a sword and a campfire, which is a reference to the Dark Souls franchise, even though I have no idea what this actually means as I never played Dark Souls. You know, I'm not a masochist. Okay, maybe a little. You can also loot the sword, which is actually pretty good. There is one main story quest that a lot of people seem to hate. I personally think it's because large YouTubers say so and no other reason, because that quest in question is actually really funny and one of my favorites. That of course being the main quest Broken Flowers. This quest has you talk to a plethora of women and even a man that Dandelion has been involved with in one way or another. One of the girls is named Vespula, but when you approach her, you see that she is getting shook down by a couple of Horsens. Now you could threaten them on behalf of the King of Beggars, causing them to flee, or you can threaten them yourself, which causes them to attack you. However, you could just run away instead of fighting them, and once you get far enough away, the quest will actually update. And once you return, you will see Vespula has gotten quite the beating, and this even unlocks some secret dialogue.
Claimed you'd defend me, then ran for your life. Some hero you are. I'd have done better if you'd never butted in. Might have parleyed with those rogues, agreed something. This way, all I had's been smashed to pieces.
Come on, far as I remember, I didn't make you any promises.
Oh, typical. You men always say that. Leave us women to deal with the consequences. Damn it all.
The side quest called The Fall of House Reardon takes you to an abandoned manor to kill a monster, but when you get there you find a plethora of booby traps and no monster. Upon investigating the barn you will find Letho, the main antagonist of The Witcher 2, who is actually incredibly based. You see, Letho was on the run from bounty hunters after assassinating the kings of the north. Nilfgaard has now put a bounty on Letho so they could tie up all loose ends. This starts the quest Ghosts of the Past, which has you follow Letho around and help him kill some traitors and whatnot, but towards the end, you both get jumped by bounty hunters who put an arrow in Letho. Now this was actually part of Letho's plan, as the arrow that he was hit with was laced with a certain kind of poison that only gives the appearance of death. However, right after Letho is shot with said poisonous arrow, when deciding whether or not to get involved, if you wait long enough, you can actually hear Letho start snoring. Now why was this detail added in? I don't know. I guess they were just bored. Now before The Witcher 3 released, there was a certain cinematic trailer titled Killing Monsters, which starts with Geralt and Vesemir finishing a job for some Nilfgaardians in Velen, who are currently trying to hang an innocent woman. And Vesemir tells Geralt not to get involved. But of course, Geralt does get involved and kills the Nilfgaardians. And the trailer ends with this iconic line.
What are you doing?
Killing monsters.
Now once you make your way to Kaer Morhen as part of the main quest, you and Lambert will make your way up the mountain to help Yennefer with some magic mumbo jumbo. At one point, Lambert will mention some trolls up ahead, where you can call Lambert out for being a tough guy. Lambert will then call Geralt out for being a tough guy back in Velen, which references the Killing Monsters cinematic trailer.
Don't know who you're trying to impress. Tough guy stuff's just not working on me.
Vesemir told me about that job you did for those Nilfgaardians in Velen. What? What are you doing? Killing monsters. Good one.
Just came out that way.
There you have it, that's 10 hidden secrets in The Witcher 3. If you want to see more content for The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, and even Baldur's Gate 3, then feel free to subscribe and maybe consider becoming a channel member as well. Anyways, I'll see you later.